And then there were 2 more rounds to go. We got 2 more rounds to go. We are here at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. We're at the Suzuka International Racing Course. And look at the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc was able to regain it after Hamilton's tough race out in Derby last week. He's only leading it by 3 points. Tsunoda back by 34. Aston back by 35. And Max Verstappen back by 57. As Ferrari coming to this race with an 83-point lead over Red Bull and an 88-point lead over Mercedes. For Haas still lead the midfield by 6 points over Racing Bulls, Aston Martin by 35, and Alpine by 44. So here's a look at, and what a beautiful place this has been. What a scenery that we've been racing here for a long time now for the Japanese Grand Prix. Leclerc is on pole, Hamilton starting 14th. That's not looking good for him in the Drivers' Championship. Like I said, this is round 15 out of 16. So this is the penultimate round of the World Championship for the Japanese Grand Prix. We're at the Suzuka International Racing Course here in Japan. Max Verstappen won this race over a year ago. Can he do it again? Here's a look now at the track map. We have 53 laps. The lap record was about 1 minute 30 point over Lewis Hamilton from 2019. 53 laps. Top speed is about 189 miles per hour. 18 turns, 40.43 elevation change on this famous circuit. Now there is a threat of rain in the area, so here's a look at the Pirelli tires. We will be using these at the start, but just in case rain does come, we'll be using those wet and intermediates. Pirelli brings a soft C3, a medium C2, and a hard C1. Some are starting on the hards, Verstappen especially on the hards, Leclerc starting on the mediums, and Hamilton starting on softs as well. So now here's a look now at the starting grid. It's Nico Hülkenberg starting last in the Sauber with Alex Albon in the Williams. And then lining up in 18th place is Ollie Behrman with Gabriel Bortoleto. Bortoleto just missed out on Q2 by at least 5 thousandths of a second. Then here comes Fernando Alonso in P16 and Carlos Sainz back in Q2, back-to-back Q2s, but doesn't get to Q3. And then the most crucial part of the World Championship, Lewis Hamilton, who's second in the Drivers' Championship, is starting 14th, not looking good. And of course, we got Esteban Ocon in P13. 12th goes to Lance Stroll, and 11th goes to George Russell. Mercedes out in Q2. And how about this? Pierre Gasly, P10 in the Alpine, and Isaac Hadjar, P9, as both Raceables and both Alpines get the advantage over Haas. Then it's Liam Lawson in P8, Franco Colapinto in P7, Kimi Antonelli lines up P6, Yuki Tsunoda P5. That's not where he wants to start at the start of this race. Then here comes the 2 McLarens as they lock out that second row of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. And then it's the reigning world champion of Max Verstappen in second, and his former title rival from 2022, and the championship leader of Charles Leclerc lining up on pole position. Ferrari taking pole for the 298th time. If they can do it in the final race, they would get pole for a 299th time in Formula One.
They sure would. They're getting close to reaching 300 poles if they can do it. But let's get this race underway.
It is time to get the Japanese Grand Prix underway. The penultimate round of the championship. It could be a tie decided slide out, and away we go. Verstappen gets an excellent start, but Charles Leclerc will be drag racing, and the turn we go. Charles Leclerc holds on to the lead through turn 1. He hangs on. Then here comes Max Verstappen. Lando Norris moves into P3. Then it's Antonelli and Oscar Piastri, your top 5. Hamilton hasn't really made gain. He just lost 2 spots now. So Hamilton struggling. But Verstappen still there on Charles Leclerc, but has now lost out of the DRS. Now Leclerc with a 2.4 second lead.
What a flyer from Charles Leclerc. He's got a massive lead now over almost like a 3-second lead. Oh, he goes wide and tips 2 tires in the gravel. That's not what he needs to make. He doesn't need to make those kind of mistakes early on.
What a huge moment from the championship leader. He made a big mistake tipping 2 tires into the gravel, and that could have really cost him the lead, but he's able to extend it just a little bit even further. Meanwhile, for Lewis Hamilton, he dropped from P14 to P19. So Hamilton struggling a little bit. Now he makes a move, gets 2 places through the hairpin, and moves back up into P14. What a move from Lewis Hamilton. Make that 5 places he's able to regain. But look at the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc has a 28-point lead, a 52-point lead over Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and a 53-point lead over Yuki Tsunoda, and a 64-point lead over Max Verstappen. Now, as things stand, Charles Leclerc would be world champion because Hamilton's not in the points. So if Charles Leclerc can maintain this lead, and if Hamilton doesn't finish on the points, Charles Leclerc would be world champion. Meanwhile, Ferrari, if they can hang on to the lead, they would become world constructors. They just need to outscore Red Bull by at least 100 points and Mercedes by at least 110 points. And that looks like that's what they're doing today. Meanwhile, RB has the advantage over Haas. They would take P5 and lead the midfield at the moment.
They just can't have any catastrophe though. If the both race bulls just cannot have any catastrophe. If they do not have some sort of problem, then the midfield. Speaking of catastrophe, that's Isaac Hadjar.
As soon as you're saying race bulls cannot have any catastrophe, that is Isaac Hadjar, and that car is destroyed. But luckily, he was able to slowly crawl to like an opening, so we will keep this race going. But that is not what race bulls needed, because they're only 6 points behind. But with still Liam Lawson in the points, they would now be on a tie with Haas leading the midfield team. But now, look at Ollie Barron trying to make a move. He now moves into P11. If he gets in the points, Haas would now be back ahead by only 1 point.
Look at the lead. Charles Leclerc has 7.5 seconds now. He's maintaining a really good size of a lead through 130R. Oh, and he goes off and runs wide.
What a save by Charles Leclerc. That's him out, but the safety car is out. And we understand there is debris on the track from Isaac Hadjar's crash. But look, Ferrari's calling in Charles Leclerc. I don't know if this is wise, because now, look at this. He's going to come in and probably lose the lead and lose a whole bunch of points, knowing that he could easily win the Drivers' Championship today from Lewis Hamilton. But now Verstappen goes through, Norris goes through, Antonelli goes through, Liam Lawson goes through, so does Piastri, Russell, and Colapinto. Wow, look at all this. Look at all the spots Charles Leclerc's losing by just pitting. And I can tell you, he is not going to be happy on why they just did that. So now, Charles Leclerc has now fallen to 12th and outside of the points. But the big moves that needed that were Verstappen, Antonelli, and Yuki Tsunoda. But they'll have to serve a pit stop to make their mandatory tires. And look, rain is expected by 15 minutes, so rain is coming.
I know Charles Leclerc's going to be, talking about why Ferrari pit him on lap 3 instead of lap 4. But they think that, this could help them, get back into the race lead, knowing that they had to make a pit, knowing that the other teams would have to make a pit stop. But let's see if this strategy can work. It didn't work last time when all this happened. Can it happen again?
Yeah, if we go back to round 14, just a couple of races to go, think back to the British Grand Prix when that alternate strategy tried to work for Charles Leclerc, and it didn't, and that ultimately cost him the race win. So let's see if this alternate strategy works again. But Ferrari thinks that they have the pace to do it, but we'll see. I don't think Charles Leclerc thinks he has the pace, but he just thinks that it just wasn't a great idea to pit from the lead on, with the 9.3 second lead that he just had. But if we now take a look at the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, it's still 3 points, but look at Antonelli. He's back by 12 points. Verstappen moves into 4th by 14 points. Antonelli back by 20. So we thought Max Verstappen was out of it. But it determines that if a driver leading the championship and a driver that's out of it can still be mathematically alive. But now, here we go. Antonelli coming into the pits. Lance Stroll comes into the pits now. So now, that will all switch back now. Here comes Lance Stroll into the pits. Meanwhile, it's time to talk about the contract negotiations while we wait for the safety car to come in. So, we know that Hamilton and Leclerc are re-signing for Ferrari through 2027. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, they have been re-signed through 2029. Ocon and Behrman, they have stayed until 2027. Oscar Piastri and Norris, they stay on McLaren until 2030. Max Verstappen has been announced that he'll be staying at Red Bull until his contract ends in 2028. Gasly stays at Alpine, and Franco Colapinto has been announced that he will return with Alpine until at least 2027. Fernando Alonso and Stroll, they stay at Aston Martin until 2026, so their contract will end next year, as well as the two Racing Bulls of Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson, and Sainz and Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon have been re-signed to Williams for next year, and that will conclude the contract negotiations as well. as now we wait on more. Oh, the 2 Saubers have been re-signed as well to until at least 2029.
What a crazy season it's been. Silly season and all that, but I think it's almost time to get this race started. Restart, to be exact. We're on lap 4 out of 10, so we're halfway through this race. Who is going to come in now? I believe Max Verstappen is going to be coming in this lap, but we'll see if he does or not.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention this a couple of the races ago, but Laura Mekies is with, now Red Bull. So we forgot to mention that a couple of the races ago. Christian Horner's been sacked from the Red Bull family due to him saying that no longer fighting for world championships. But it's time now. The safety car comes in. Verstappen comes in. Norris comes in. Harrells comes in. A couple of more come in. I believe George Russell also came in. Ocon, Gasly all come in. Actually, Ocon stays out. So does George Russell. Alonso's in the pits now. So now we return to racing action. Charles Leclerc now would extend his poly championship lead now to at least 7 points over Lewis Hamilton. He's still right behind now Esteban Ocon. About 9 seconds, 35 seconds now. Charles Leclerc slowly starting to struggle just a little bit on those medium tires. As now he has the pace. George Russell runs 5th, Ocon 6th, then it's Leclerc, Behrman, and look at this, Hamilton in the point spot, but would still have to serve his pit stop. Meanwhile, down the inside goes Nico Hülkenberg on his teammate of Gabriel Bortoleto. What a move from Nico Hülkenberg, as now he moves up into P19. So now Hülkenberg moves into 19th, but he still has a long way to go to get back in the points. Who else is going to make some moves? Look at Alex Albon. He's making a move now on teammate Carlos Sainz, and they touch. The 2 Williams touch. They collide a little bit. Sainz goes off the track, bouncing and jumping through the air a little bit through the grass. We're halfway through this race of the Japanese Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the World Championship. We know that the championship could be a title decider unless Hamilton Dinos or Charles Leclerc. But look at Leclerc! Wow, what about he was well close to the wall? That could have been a race-ending crash for Charles Leclerc, but he gets it done. Going through 130R. Charles Leclerc now moves into P6. Oh, but he's gonna lock up. He locks up and slides through the grass. The championship leader, and he gets hit by Ocon and loses the front wing. The championship leader now loses half the front wing. That is gonna be costly. We saw Colapinto come in. Ocon's now in. But what a crucial turn of events. And the championship, Nico Hülkenberg is in. Carlos Sainz is in. I think he's gonna be getting some repairs with the car, knowing that he had a rough ride through the gravel. Oh, but Charles Leclerc has made an error. He knew he had to get it done, but just locked up in our buckets and slid right through the grass and back onto the racetrack. Now, with him having front wing damage, that is going to hurt the performance. He's not going to be able to catch up to George Russell or Yuki Tsunoda. He has just now lost pure pace on his Ferrari.
I want to correct you on that one there for St. Johnson. He did not look. If Charles Leclerc overshot the corner, he carried way too much speed going into the chicane to try to get the move on Esteban Ocon. So we didn't see a lock up. He overshot the corner, so that's that. I mean, Charles Leclerc's really put pressure on himself on chance of the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, thank you for re-correcting me there, Jesse. See, I thought he locked up, but it turns out he just overshot the corner. Now with him having front wing damage, it's hurting pure pace on that Ferrari. So now when it comes to Spoon Corner, oh, he can't stop. Leclerc cannot stop. He's going to hit the wall and crashes into the wall. Charles Leclerc crashes and is out. Charles Leclerc's out of the Japanese Grand Prix. That's it. And with the DNF, Lewis Hamilton now regains the championship lead by 12 points. Tsunoda takes the victory, and Liam Lawson for Racing Bulls pick up their first podium, picks up another podium in Formula 1, the last podium coming at the Monaco Grand Prix. Hamilton regains the championship lead by 12 points. Esteban Ocon takes 4th, Behrman 5th, so a great result for Haas as they extend to now a 10-point advantage over the midfield teams. Antonio falls to 6. Albon picks up points. Stroll and Verstappen, Bortoleto. And how about that? Albon and Bortoleto pick up their first points in Formula 1 as Sauber and Williams get back in the points. But now, Lewis Hamilton retakes the championship lead by 12 points. Leclerc now in the second. Yuki Tsunoda is still in it, but Antonelli will be eliminated from the championship fight. So now we go to Sao Paulo for the final race, a three-way title decider, as Ferrari still didn't have the mathematical advantage to clinch the constructors. So, with that being said, we'll see you when Formula One returns for the final race at Sao Paulo for the title decider. We'll see you in Sao Paulo, everyone.